Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the SAP episode 400. This is Dave Neal with Tasha Courtney and Joe the Wealthy Welkie.
Oh wow! All right, I didn't know it was like getting that intro.
Well, I was thinking of what I could have the something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't come up with anything. What was the other? The Welchie Welkie.
Welchie.
What does that mean?
It doesn't. So that's why I went with Wealthy. Welcome back to the show.
Hell yeah, man! This is the first time I think I've been back since you guys got engaged. So congratulations!
Oh,
thank you.
I saw
Yeah.
the fucking ring.
She hasn't thrown it at me yet. She hasn't. You get a nice enough ring, they won't throw it at you yet.
Yeah, that's a ballin' ring.
Thank you.
Dude.
It was mined in the 1800s.
Was it really?
Is that was a story? We never
it's
found out if this was the
stop.
real story or not.
Yeah.
But it was
It's,
it was found at like an estate sale. Would you say, right?
Yeah, but based on the cut, it's like circa 1890s.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a big old hunk of rock right there, though. You guys.
Yeah, I got insurance on it, so if she goes missing, if she or the finger goes missing, it just doesn't matter. Apparently, you can just throw that shit into the ocean. Welcome
Don't do
back.
that.
It is episode 400. We have
400. Oh man, I really wanted to get those big old balloons
with
for the
with
photo.
400.
Yeah, 400. We can still do that tomorrow, right?
That must be an industry that's taken a big hit during the virus. Instagrammers not being able to get the biggest balloons possible for
Yeah.
their stupid birthday brunch.
10K followers, posts.
Have
and
you ever
everything.
seen a dude go into that giant balloon store asking for balloons for another guy? It doesn't. That's a pure gender thing, I think. Like if you bought, I know you bought me a giant balloons for my birthday, but I also think you repurposed them because your birthday's a week after. So I feel like you got to save the three. But that's just
No, you repurpose. Let's be real.
well. But there's things that there are things that define women and men, and they just don't cross paths. And I think
in
that's
general,
one of them.
women are more aesthetic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they're always trying to get the perfect picture for the gram. Guys, I think aren't really unless it's your thing, which there is actually an Instagram account that is run by a dude. I think that his whole thing is writing out messages with balloons. He sticks them to the wall of buildings, like the pink wall building down the street or whatever.
So you think women have a better aesthetic? I think women are more needy for attention. I think that's what it is. I think it's
And
the
here
attention.
we go. We're off and running with the SAP, baby.
Joe, I was so excited to talk to you because I was running my thoughts by, since we don't have stand up really anymore. I just run thoughts by Tasha, and I was running this one by her that I was like, it's funny because every chick on Instagram with an ass that I've looked at their photos of, it's already been liked by Mr. Joe the Wealthy Welkie over here. And I go, that's my boy. Because that means somebody's going to those photos seeing that I liked it last and not you. I am somebody's Joe Welkie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just that's my whole explore page now.
Yeah.
Because I'll
Just butts.
It's butts and boobs.
Dude, we are in the same algorithm. Whatever, some crack scientist at Instagram has an algorithm and he goes, Joe Welkie, Dave Neal, you're going to be getting asses from Boutine LA or whatever the hell that brand is. What's that brand called?
Boutine.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the Boutine
That's all it
babes.
is chicks, asses, and dental floss.
Yep.
That's all I get.
That's all, dude. My TikTok algorithm, this is what happened is my TikTok algorithm used to be a bunch of skateboarding videos, and then I saw one girl shaking her butt, and I liked it, and then from then on, there's no skateboarding anymore. It's just all chicks in bikinis.
Because that's China. They're in TikTok. They're looking through your camera, seeing what your eyes are doing, and they just see the fire burning in your eyes, and they go, "Clear your schedule." I mean, I would be so pissed if Tasha's Instagram had nothing but dudes' bulges. I would be so. It doesn't work that way. You'll get beautiful photos, but you don't get just dudes with their fucking dicks. But we get tits and ass.
Yeah.
But you know what that means? That's what you're looking at. That's what you're pausing over the longest. That's what you're liking. That's what you're commenting on. That's why you get more of it. When I first got on TikTok, I was getting all the funny videos that TikTok is famous for.
Yeah.
And then the more I started watching content about Instagram algorithm and Canva and design and Procreate. Now that's the only videos that I get.
I feel like
you design your own page.
when I got on TikTok,
I'm not complaining.
when I got on,
like, I'm chill with the butt.
when I got on there like 9 months ago, it was a different world. It was like your grandmother's TikTok. Like if you posted a bikini photo, they'd be like, "Whoa, calm down, go easy." Now it's like, "Good luck." And we've talked about this before, but it's just
all
teaching.
the influencers have taken over TikTok, I think.
It's really bad, and I know other people have talked about this, but there's a difference between being excited to share your body and owning up to your body versus an algorithm that lets you know that is the first thing you'll be rewarded on. None of these chicks are getting some are funny. There's that girl Chandler Eubanks. Do you know her?
No.
She's like a cute girl, but she does all the weird faces. She made those go trendy, I can't do it, but like,
is it like that Hannah Stocking girl that was famous
she's funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's kind of spun it, but these are Hannah Stocking's probably 30, right?
Well, also,
you got these 15-year-olds who their first time ever being exposed to like popularity on the internet is because it's not until they post the.
But you don't get to pick and choose like which of your TikToks blows up. Like the only TikToks that I've ever had blow up are not sexy at all. So I think like TikTok rewards, right? If you have one video that's really good, TikTok is going to continue to reward you as long as you continue to produce that type of video. My one video that blew up is just a funny video.
But it starts on a nice close-up of you. You're good looking. It's not like a rare thing. You don't see some fat slob do the video that you did and get 250,000 views. I mean,
I don't buy that.
Unless he's doing something funny, like jumping through a table off of a roof or something.
Well, what happened in your video? What do you do?
Okay, do you know that Russian singer? Do you know his name, Dave?
No, it's.
That's a great impression.
That's what it is.
Really?
Okay, it's a clip of this guy who literally is like the Michael Jackson of Russia. He's made more money than God. He's like very, very famous, but he's also like really weird and out there. And one of his songs does this like funny tongue thing. I can't do it. Dave can. Like it's like
I'm not doing
really
good.
fast tongue.
How can you not do that?
I don't know.
I find myself doing it randomly throughout the day.
But anyway,
it makes sense why you can do it. And fucking high five.
That's right. Yeah. I'll show you the algorithm, baby.
But anyway,
you're doing
it's
that
just
all the
me,
time,
like,
but without the noise.
It's me doing that in the coffee shop. I was just like, I had 2 hours to kill in between jobs downtown one day, and so there was like. I was going like this and like, perspective. If a person's right here and I went, it looks like I'm licking their face or their head. So I did that in the video and it blew up.
Huh.
This couldn't be less interesting for an audio.
Everybody go check out my TikTok.
You gotta remove you're gonna be upset that you still have your face mask under your chin.
Oh, I forgot.
You look like
I'm feeling very warm. You warned me that it was
You look very incognito. Like you look like you are like trying to hide in a Marvel movie.
I put makeup on just for this podcast because I know Dave's got the fancy cameras out and I might get a close up. I put makeup on literally just for this and it's hidden under a hat.
Tasha's got CW detective face right
now.
Yeah,
dude.
You look like Riverdale trying to sneak around a high school. Anyway, so we're here to talk about you, not us. So I've noticed that you host a podcast, Dating is Hard.
Yes, Dating is Hard podcast.
So has it evolved? Because last time you were on our podcast, I think you were just launching it. Is it still you're interviewing people that you've met on Tinder?
I got banned from Tinder.
Well, that answers that.
Really? Because of the podcast?
Yeah, because of the podcast. Like I was interviewing people. The podcast has been around for about a year now, and a vast majority of my guests I got through Tinder, and like when quarantine started, like I had like enough of a backlog to like rest, and I didn't have to like go out all the time and interview these people. But then quarantine started, and then I ran out of episodes. And so I got back on Tinder with my profile when I'm on there is like, read my about me. And my about me is all about like, hey, I host this podcast. All my pictures are like me with my podcast equipment and like the logo and shit like that. And this time around, Tinder must have like updated their terms of service because it was like one day I was on it and then the next day it was like, you're banned. And then I sent an appeal to Tinder, and they were like, "We don't even listen to appeals, so like, don't even bother."
I would love that performed as a sketch, like you going to some noble appeals court at the Kingdom Tinder. And you're like, hear ye, good sir. I've been wrongfully banned from the fuck app. So you got banned from Tinder. That's some good street cred you got.
Because it's promotion or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Like I was reading, they were like, "Here's why," and then they sent a link, and then the one was like, "We wouldn't want people on here to be like, come to my comedy show," and like that's fucked up because that's how Eliza Schlesinger like got famous. I think like because she talked about how she used to do that, and I know a bunch of female comics like in LA that do.
Yeah, swipe for the bringers. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it made sense, but like I understand why they don't want that to happen. But
they want to keep a mystique to their like very nice app where you want to get fucked very quickly.
So what app are you moving over to? How are you going to get guests now?
Well, I was worried because Bumble is still like available to me, but historically I have done horrible on Bumble. Like whether I'm dating or for the podcast, like just the way that it works, it doesn't work for me.
You don't want to put the ball in the woman's court.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's not good for people that don't own like exotic tigers, I feel like. You want to be able to charm them.
That's not true at all. I just think, well, I guess I'm going to make gross generalizations here.
If the ball was in your court, we would still be friends.
If the ball was in my court, I would be on eHarmony, not a free app.
eHarmony.
Yeah, I would be on one of like the paid apps
but
where like people take it
those?
seriously.
You know who else is on those? Weirdos.
Christians.
If you're paying to do it, like especially now, there's no reason to pay.
That's a good point.
I don't think I believe that. I think that you're going to narrow the pool to eliminate fuckboys.
Yeah, but then you're with
Don't you want a
people
fuckboy?
that would pay, and those people are weird.
Here's
or
what you
there are
want.
people who
Listen.
also want to eliminate like the extra baggage. I don't know. I mean, I guess you would probably have some weirdos on there.
I feel like as a lady, I would know, I think you should want a bad boy such as Joe and myself that's willing to evolve and settle down. You know what I mean?
I would be on the Sugar Babies website.
Oh yeah,
where
I could see that. I could see that.
I was on Tinder for a bit. It's kind of just it plays right into that Pavlovian. You get excited when you get a message, and a lot of people aren't trying to like make moves on it. But so, and again, I don't no judgment here because everything men do, for the most part, can weed back to getting laid. The Sisteenth Chapel, someone's trying to get their dick sucked,
Yo, did
right?
you just say 16th?
He said
I said
Sisteenth,
Okay.
which is both wrong. You know what I mean? It's like
Sistine. That's what I said.
No, you said Sisteenth.
Yeah, you said 16th.
All right, well, I didn't say 16th. I said Sisteenth. Tasha's right. I got it both wrong. I didn't pick a
You
side.
combined both stupid things.
I shanked the field goal.
Yeah, you were on the right path, and then you were just like, yeah, and let's go down.
I dribbled to the wrong side of the court and missed the layup. Anyway, guys, we're trying to get it in, right? We're trying to find, maybe we're trying to find love, whatever. But in the end, a lot of what we do, we don't necessarily ride the motorcycle because it's the wind's nice in our hair. Sure, that's nice, but chicks like a guy with tattoos. We're anyway. The point is that I get like, do you get any runoff from the podcast? Or have you dated any of these girls?
Yeah, eventually I did, because like the last time that I was here, I was like, I don't know, that seems a little like skeezy, but like it's weird because you're talking about such like an intimate and personal thing. I feel like it's a little bit of that, that thing about how like women, if they have a male therapist, a lot of times will like fall in love with their male therapist or something. It might be like a little bit of that going on, and I didn't want that to happen, and I feel like that's bad.
How long did you date her for, or did you just hook up?
No, I mean, there's only been like a couple of people where I was like, I actually like really enjoy your company. I like you. Like a woman that I'm like seeing now was a person that was a guest, and like we were hanging out before, because what I do is like I always take them out for like coffee or like a snack or froyo or something. Just to, number one, prove that I'm not a murderer because I'm a stranger and I record out of my apartment. So it's a big ask to be like, hey, we just
Come to my apartment.
Come to my
yeah.
apartment. I record a podcast. Like, yeah, fucking
I'm going to wear
dude.
your skin.
Yeah, exactly. So I always like send a very like transparent message, like, this is what I'm doing. I will meet you at a neutral location, blah, blah, blah. And then, so we meet there for like an hour or whatever before we start recording. And so I met up with this lady, and I was like, man, this lady is really fucking cool, and she's super hot. But like, I also don't want to tarnish like what I'm doing here, because like she's not here for a date. Like, she's here for a podcast.
It would be a position of power. No, that's what it would be, right? Because you would.
Well, but what happens once the podcast's over, right? Then you can be like, hey, I actually really enjoyed hanging out with you. Would you be interested in hanging out again?
That's exactly what happened. Like, we recorded the podcast, and goddamn motorcycles over here.
We're on the roof, baby. We forgot to mention that. We're on the roof, everybody.
Yeah, we're on the roof.
Don't just think
We're
it's
out in
loud
public.
city noises in the apartment. We are on the roof.
If you hear this fucking motorcycle, you just know that this guy that's driving that motorcycle has a huge dick.
He's trying to get laid.
Know it.
Oh my God. He lives in one of these buildings down here, and he
really?
drives out the alleyway like every morning pretty early, and it's so loud. And actually, I was walking the dog yesterday, and here he comes roaring down the alleyway while Boone and I are walking, and I give him a nice wave, but I really do hate that dude. I do. His motorcycle's too loud. You shouldn't be allowed to have a motorcycle that
Tasha
loud.
picks very specific things to hate on.
No,
This
it's
one motorcycle.
absurd. It's so absurd.
So you were mentioning.
So we did the podcast, and it was still a good time. And then after we were done recording, I was like, hey, look, I know that this isn't what you came here for, and this isn't what you were expecting, but I think you're awesome, and I'm like attracted to you, and if you would like to go out sometime, I would love that. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And then so it worked out like that.
You still together?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, but
she
here's
actually lives like right there, right over there.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, there
Our
it is.
neighbor.
Here-
Are you going over there after this?
we'll socially distance. We'll just run a cord over there. You guys can come. So, but the question is, though, is because you'd met her through the podcast, does she worry that you're going to meet the next girl through the podcast?
Yes, she is. She did raise that concern.
Because I mean, that's kind of the flying too close to the sun to
Yeah.
get my Greek mythology down. You know, in the Sisteenth chapel, they had this saying. They always said, "Don't fly too close to the moon." So what's your defense of that?
Well, I mean, you just have to trust me at that point. You know, if I'm like, hey, I want to see you, like, because there's been a couple times where people have asked me out after the podcast, or like, you know, and then I have to lay down the law of like, no, that's not what this was, and
Or you could just put in your bio, like, I am seeing someone.
Yeah.
This is strictly business.
Yeah, a lot of the time not a lot of the time, I'd say about 40% of the messages that I get on Bumble when I'm trying to get into this podcast is, it's like, yeah, I mean, like, I might be down, but like, you're also like pretty cute too. Are you down to like actually go on a date? And then I have to be like, no, I'm seeing somebody, and like, I'm here strictly for the podcast.
But on Bumble in particular, it is sort of a tease because they are swiping first, right?
Yeah, well, it's also, Bumble's weird because their restrictions on pictures are weird. So on Tinder, I was able to have a picture with text on it, and the first picture was me pointing to like a sign that said, please read my about me. But on Bumble, you're not allowed to have text overlays on it. So it's just my regular picture as the first picture. And so people are like, oh, this is just a dude. But my whole profile is about my podcast, like my
But if
about
they
me.
don't read your profile and they're just like, oh, cute guy, swipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I like generalizations. I feel like with comedy, we always have to boil things down to
absolutely.
generalization. We always have to be smart with them. We can't just be like, men are this way, women are that way.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, we are.
Yeah,
Men
chicks are dumb.
You know,
Dudes are fucking horny.
but it's that's pretty much what it comes down to.
That's just Dave's whole act.
You just find new ways to say your premise. Isn't it
Yeah.
interesting how most women do this thing? But anyway, have you been able to boil down any sort of consistencies with the female online dating pool as far as like if what they're doing with their photos, what pickup lines they're using. Because I would assume women would be horrible with their pickup lines.
Why do women even have pickup lines?
Yeah.
Is that a Bumble thing?
That's the point. Is that they don't. Men have to. You get one shot, like at the Eminem song. You get one shot. You got your elevator pitch. You're either selling the script or not, baby.
Yeah.
You're quick. She's either gonna hate you, she's gonna slap you, or love you based on what you're about to say. You can't just. But then women will like go, hey. And Tasha, you were the same way. When Tasha's way of initiating sex, I don't even realize till 3 days later.
Yeah.
Because she's like, well, I was basically throwing myself at you last night. I'm like, what? She'll like poke me and go, hey.
Yeah. Yep.
She's not denying
subtle.
it. Subtle, that's the thing. But like men don't get subtlety. Subtlety doesn't get you laid.
Yeah.
With men. So have you noticed anything different with the way that women will
Yes.
reach out?
This is unfortunate. The women that I would say are less attractive do put in that more effort. They do have pickup lines. They'll have a creative first line to say on Bumble, and the women that are like more, in my opinion, would be more attractive, that you can tell like they're getting a lot of matches. It's just hey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
like-
guess they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have to.
If they're getting a ton of messages in their inbox, then they don't need to try very hard. But somebody who's not getting as many messages, well, it doesn't. I guess they want to try a little harder.
Yeah, I mean, I also through this podcast have found out that a lot of the women just don't like Bumble because you have a 24-hour like period where you have to message first, and if you don't message a person within that 24 hours, then they just disappear. And you're getting so many matches if you're like an attractive woman that
It's overwhelming. You don't have time to sit on this app all
Yeah,
day.
exactly. You're just flooded with all these people, and then it's like I don't have time to message fucking 80 people. And then that's another thing as to why they would just say hey, because it's like
Send an emoji.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna spend like 3 hours researching all of these dudes to see like let me send a creative message to all of these people. I get it.
And it doesn't really give you the opportunity to be very discerning either.
Yeah.
Which is like if this is a dating app where like eHarmony, you're actually looking for someone you might be seriously interested in.
Nope.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going with Joe on this one. The idea that playing it cool is what a lot of people want. Like I feel like a lot of people want that person they can settle down with, but are afraid of the needy person.
Yeah.
And you can get stuck with we've all been cornered by the needy person, and then all of a sudden we're just like, ugh, they're nice, but ugh, you know what I mean? Like everyone wants to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out until you're ready to dive head in. I think we were that way, Tasha, where we were kind of like, all right, if it just doesn't work out, fine. Like we weren't too. I mean, we developed very fast, but we were also like, not. It could have failed. Like we gave it the chance to fail if it needed to. I don't know. You're quiet.
I zoned out for a minute.
You weren't even listening to me?
I got the last sentence.
Jesus Christ, Joe. You know what it's like to pull this podcast along? Holy shit. What's going on?
You said we played it cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like it's important to know you want something, but still be on your heels. It's like everything they've always taught men with, if you're going to approach some lady, don't let her think that you're going to take up her whole day, even if you end up taking her whole day.
It can be alarming to a woman. Nobody wants a stage 5 clinger.
Yeah.
So like the second that you're like leaning in too far, she's going to lean back.
It's weird that
It's a balance.
I feel like a lot of people don't get that. We've been talking a lot about faux pas that happen online with Facebook, and how, I think if there's anything I'd pat myself on the back, and you're probably the same way, is that as with stand-up, we've basically spent years, decades, sort of learning how to read people.
Yeah.
And probably before we ever got into stand-up, we probably got into stand-up in part because we're curious about other people's reactions. We know when we've soured the mood. I know when Tasha zoned out. She was just looking into the hills for a second there. We know.
I had my sunglasses on, so it wasn't as obvious.
I know. Riverdale detective over here. She's just like, sorry, what was that? And you
Fucking.
But you know what I mean? So it's like it's a skill. It's not a skill that I think anyone really aims to have, but I do think it's a skill to read the fucking room. And part of what makes dating, I think what can be hard for women is that you get guys that don't get the fucking hint. But sometimes those guys still get laid because a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes guys, you know what I mean? Have you ever before the podcast started, just your dating life?
Yeah.
What were there struggles to read women and know is she into me? Should I go up to her?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I've always been really lucky, and if I've ever been in a dry spell, it's self-appointed. I've never had a lot of trouble meeting women or
How do you mean self-appointed? You're not.
I'll just be I'm taking a break. I'll just be I'm done with this for a while. But yeah, I mean, it's only specific. Like I was saying before, when I was on there, actually dating, I would never have any luck on Bumble. But Tinder and Hinge, I was I could do really well on those.
Because you've got the control.
I don't know. I guess
I've always said it's bad to give your number to someone because they might like you, but they also might have anxiety about texting or making the first move. Yeah. So there's certain positions where you have to just give your number. For somebody say, like we were talking before, if someone's in a position of power, you can't just. Sometimes if Tasha's my waitress, it's better that I give her my number versus ask for hers because it's she's just trying to make
no. I'm just trying to get a tip.
Yeah, but in most cases, I think it's better to take whatever control. So even they might be busy the next day, but at least you're going to shoot them a message versus not having their info at all or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe that's not as important anymore because there's so many different ways to reach somebody. It used to be if you lost their digits, they're
dead.
Gone.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore.
Now we know, you just check in on, whatever. You can Zoom stalk somebody or whatever. How long have you been with your current girlfriend?
Well, I mean, it's only been a couple weeks, to be honest. It's not been this long-term thing. I was at the beginning of quarantine. It was a fucking... I got into some, weird situations at the beginning of quarantine.
Go on.
Tell us.
So... Yeah, I was I'm going to have to talk about this at the beginning of quarantine so when it started, when everything really started getting fucking crazy, I was in Germany because I work for this company that's based out of Germany, and I got back the day before the Europe travel ban started. So shit was going crazy then. And then so I got back and I was okay, this is going to be a 2-week quarantine, whatever. And I got on, this is before I was banned from Tinder. I got on Tinder and I made a profile that was and at that point it was we're going to be quarantined until mid-April or May. And I was well, hey, we're all quarantined until May. Anybody want to text? And then if we're feeling cool about it, send each other nudes. That was my profile. And my picture was one of them was just a regular picture. And then the other one was just me in my underwear. It was just straight up, I'm on my fuckboy shit right now. I'm thotting hard. So that was my profile. And then a bunch of people would message me. And then I'm hey, so you read my profile, right? I just want to make sure intentions are known here. And then a bunch of people were oh, I thought you were joking. And I was so then I adjusted my profile and I put in parentheses this is not a joke. If we're chatting and if we're feeling good about it, Nude City's getting a new mayor, baby. And so I was doing that for a while and it went well. I was talking to a couple people, we were exchanging nudes. But then a female comic, she saw my profile, screenshotted it, and posted it on Facebook.
Here we go.
And she was I know this guy. This guy's a total douchebag or whatever. And then
rude.
All of these people were commenting and saying, oh, I know who this guy is. This is Joe Welkie, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was who does this guy fucking think he is? He's not even hot enough to be asking for nudes and blah, 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 blah. And all of this people just trashing me. And I was
you got internet shamed.
I got shamed Like, but I didn't know why. I was like,
Yeah, it's like if literally people are only going to swipe with you if they're down.
yeah.
And they're only going to text you if they're down. They're only going to send you nudes if they're down. It's
Yes.
two consenting adults doing doing things that they both agree are
Yes.
chill.
Tasha, he's a douchebag. How did you feel about this? What was the feeling? Like, walk us through the feeling of feeling like because getting ostracized from a community seems to be the worst type of torture or warfare out there for mentally speaking.
Yeah, well, I had like several different feelings. Like, number one, I was confused for the exact reasons that Tasha was talking. I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's not like I'm like, if you swipe right on me, you have to send me nudes, and if you don't, I'm gonna fuck you up or something. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like, hey, if we're chatting and we feel good about it and we want to do this fucking nudes, like, we're quarantined, we can't do anything else. Like, let's have some fun. And I was like, I don't know why this girl was like, look at this fucking douchebag. And number two, I wasn't too miffed about it because it worked. Like, I was doing a nudes exchange with like a couple people.
And that's a good rebuttal too. Is like, I got a whole list of people who are here for this.
Well, this thing
a nudes exchange.
This got like this post that she posted, a screenshot of me. It got like 90 comments, and like there were all these white knight dudes that were like, "This guy's. I would love to see the girls that he's getting nudes from. They're probably ugly as fuck."
I'll bleep it out. Just can you tell me or no?
You know, yeah, I'll tell you.
I'll bleep it out.
Amanda Jane Hickok.
Nope.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's at the exact 30-minute mark, so I'll bleep it out.
You don't even need to bleep it out.
Okay. That's just saved me 3 minutes of work. Where the fuck was that thing he said?
Well, here's the other thing.
But was it? I'm shocked that the algorithm didn't share this story with me. Like, I'm shocked. Was this in a women's only Facebook?
No.
Women love their Facebook groups.
It was on her Facebook, like her public page. She has a whole like album of like guys' profiles that she screenshots.
But now to give.
But that's okay.
But let's give her let's take her side. Does she think she's doing a service to the other ladies to protect them? Is that what her intention is, or is she a detective?
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know this girl. I've never seen anything, but why does she have a whole album of dudes she's screenshotting? Unless, like, if someone's doing something very problematic, then I get the screenshot and sharing. Yeah, if you want to protect somebody. But why is your hobby screenshotting random people who are just like doing consensual adult things?
Dude, that's what I was like. I don't understand it. And like in my profile, I also said like, hey, I'm a comedian and I'm a circus performer because I do like the aerialist stuff, like Cirque du Soleil. And this girl literally, and I'm not making this up, she works as a clown at kids' parties. And some guy was like, circus performer, what the fuck is this guy? And she commented, yeah, and he's not even a real circus performer. And I was like, my shit is so much harder than your shit.
You don't have the red nose. Look, this is what happens when you start slinging bullshit at each other. I mean, it's in the fucking Bible.
Well,
don't throw rocks at whatever the hell it goes. The 16th chapels. Don't throw rocks in your 16th chapel.
Well, here is the ultimate punchline of this, is that this woman in the past has sent me nudes.
Oh.
The woman that screenshot.
So maybe that's part of it. Maybe she like thought that you weren't getting nudes from anyone else. I don't know. It's very weird. Like, if you're like, I'm not a person that really sends nudes. Of course, I've been in a committed relationship for a long time.
Well, I would hope.
But like, I would be one of those who's careful about who I'm sending photos to because they live forever, right?
Yeah.
They're on your phone, they're on the cloud, they're somewhere they live forever. So I can get that, like, if somebody has a hang up about sending nudes in particular, or if they're like a boomer, like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never mind.
But I mean, the thing was like,
wait, you're sort of being like kink shamed. It was like your thing was wanting to send nudes. You're politely asking on a forum that's what you weren't asking in LA Comics Facebook group.
Yeah,
and this is the difference.
It wasn't like I'm not going to book you on my show unless you. It was like, hey, if you want to do this. And it's like out there.
In lieu of selling merch after this open mic, I would like to send you my dick pic.
And people did it. Like it's just like, I don't know.
It's amazing. Yeah, man. Well, I understand comedy as a workplace doesn't have an HR department.
Yeah.
So I understand that that even though it was divisive to talk about the Louis C.K. thing and a lot of misreporting on it, that that people need to understand their power, their position of power, even if it's not on I'm your director.
Yeah.
Like there is all that. We've learned that there's been good that has come from that. Aside from him losing $50 million and moving to Paris over it, whatever. That's his story to tell. But when we talk about the pendulum swinging too far, you're a dude trying to get your podcast off the ground. You're trying to get, like any guy, you're trying to get your creative work off the ground, a little love life, have a little fun, and then you kind of get mischaracterized because people could read her side and be like, yeah, he is a douchebag.
But what is her point of view? That's what I don't understand. Like, some people are just angry, and I don't really understand what she's angry about here. So what I'm missing is, like, what is her point of view?
Yeah, I didn't understand why it was like such a big deal, and like why it was like, hey, this is screenshot worthy, and I'm gonna like expose this guy. And it was the other thing was, like, I took a screenshot of my own profile before she did this, and I posted it on my Instagram, and I was like, look at what I'm doing, guys. And then I was like, are you like, you're trying to expose me or something?
See, that's kind of like,
I didn't get it.
getting engaged. We talked about this before. Having been in a relationship for so long, most people understand I'm not trying to fuck them.
Yeah.
But if I were single, there's absolutely some of the things I wouldn't be getting away with just by coming off as, like, not necessarily a creep, but like it's a nighttime art form. Usually people are drinking. And again, what your scenario has nothing to even do with that. But there is so much intermingling. Like, we're all in comedy camp together that lines do get crossed. It's important for, like, everyone to, like, be aware of who's the creepy person. I think it's so great that women have private groups. There's so many different private Facebook groups I've never even heard of until some shit goes viral and you find out, you guys have known about this all along. You've talked about this, and it's sometimes someone we know or something. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that guy seems like a creep. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Because as much as, like, we want to be there to protect everyone and be good guys, I come from a place where I see people with the benefit of the doubt.
Well, and a lot of guys don't show their creepy side to other guys because they're not they're just not going to be on the receiving end of it. So, it's possible that you don't know that your friend is a douchebag online.
And then people aren't. Here's what I experienced when I got internet shamed 3 years ago. It's probably about maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
What happened to you?
I very quickly posted that I think women have an easier. I posted that attractive women have an easier time getting stage time in LA, and then I got a little high, did an open mic, turned my phone on airplane mode. An hour later, I was the fucking most hated person in the world, unless somebody knew me. And then some people came to my defense, and then I responded to, and it was someone who it had nothing to do with her. And my only mistake was I wanted to clarify I meant attractive women have an easier time getting stage time. I didn't want to explain that they have to get walk to their car at night because they're, sketchy dudes are following them. None of that. To me, I was being very analytical, and you have to understand it's an emotional thing. So my mistake was probably saying what I believe to be true, anecdotally true,
Well, and also just in 2 sentences, you know what I mean? Or one. Like, in 30 characters or less, you're not going to have, like, a really well-rounded argument.
Like
we all know that. Exactly. There are pluses and minuses to everything. There are pluses to being an attractive woman. There are a ton of minuses, too.
You're not saying that those don't exist. Like, that's what I hate when you post shit like that.
And that's why I've stopped, for the most part, posting things on Facebook. I'll discuss it on a podcast or make a YouTube video about it, because then you have to really go out of your way to misquote and mistake what I'm saying. And a lot of people stuck up for me, and there was guys that were like, just like when people, like, dudes will immediately come to the defense of this girl and be, oh man, fuck him, he's an idiot. But I would respond to some, and I didn't apologize for what I said because I believed what I said, and I still do it, but it was probably reckless to say. I was just, I'm stupid, and I posted it. But by the end of it, I got some new followers, and people were taking my side, because it was kind of like, come on, I'm not trying to, it was blown so far out of proportion that the average person saw that and came to their senses. Which is a lot like what happened when our Joey Diaz video, people, some people didn't like us, but some people were like, oh, you guys got a bad rap. You guys were totally fine. You spent 20 minutes, talking both sides of the story. So when you analyze things like that, people will either stick to their own side or have a little bit of critical thinking.
Yeah, well, there's also an argument to be made about like the thing that you posted. Like, there are attractive women that I think are less talented, and there's funnier women, but they're getting more stage time just because they're attractive, and I don't think that's right.
Yeah. There's plenty of funny women that don't get stage time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We know them. Absolutely. And then there's guys like you who, would probably be a headliner in a different time of the world. You know what's so funny? Because it's almost like we don't want to set limitations on ourselves because it doesn't do any good to like talk about like, well, if I lived in so-and-so, I'd be doing this or this, whatever. We live in the world we live in, but it is funny to think of someone like a Joe Rogan or like even a Bert Kreischer, and like Bert Kreischer, he's kind of always like talking about how like, I don't know. Some of these guys got, mid six figure development deals a year into comedy.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about how they had to struggle through life, and they had to struggle through being a feature only making $600 a weekend. And hold my Diet Dr. Pepper with cherry, because I got some fucking stories for you. I'm on a goddamn roof right now.
Yeah, I always like listen to those podcasts, and they're like, man, I was struggling. I was doing all these college gigs. I was getting paid, and I was like,
college gigs,
bro. I can't get on a bar show.
Yeah, like I would kill to be doing college gigs.
And what's tough is like we're talking, like this will be probably the last time you hear me mention that, because I don't blame them, but it would be interesting. Like I would have no problem being on a Bert Kreischer podcast or someone and being like, you were plucked from the heavens.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you didn't deliver, but some people will get their opportunity. We know people like, they're shooting their hour 3 years into comedy. You go, that's just not going to be my story.
Yeah.
That's not going to be my story. Today, someone, I was like, someone wanted to read my script, and I sent it to him, and she was like, and she's the sweetest. It wasn't her, but she goes, you should submit this to the Nickelodeon fellowship program for writers. I clicked on it just out of fun, and it goes, looking for diverse voices. I go, that ain't me. And I get it. So I understand that there's this collective white guy has ruled the world thing, but trust me when I say it does not pay my bills. Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah, we've got privilege. Tasha's got a privilege. We all have a different thing going on, and it's kind of how do we use whatever's in that set of tools we're given to our benefit, and that's kind of what we're working towards. But we're kind of in the same place where it's like, everyone and their mother's got a podcast, and everyone and their mother decided they would try stand-up comedy. So let's just get better at it.
Yeah, I've kind of like just accepted my role, because it used to like keep me up at night. It used to piss me off where I'd be like, oh, fucking why am I? But now I'm just kind of like, I enjoy doing it, and whatever happens. But yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't feel those things.
Yeah.
Like I go out there and I'm like, oh, that guy's getting, oh, that person's getting that, oh, that girl's getting that, oh, that guy's getting it. It's like, well, fucking, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
And they say stay in your lane, and then Facebook says, I know you're in your lane, but look at this news story of the day. And that's the hard part. It's like, it'd be easier to stay in your lane if you didn't have, get to see everyone,
delete the apps.
Yeah, no, it's part of it. It's part of it.
Well, now, how would you promote the SAP?
That's the hard part. Now, what's your mental health been like with regards to stand-up during the COVID and all this?
It's real weird, man. It's weird.
Talk to me about your creativity during this, or lack of, or whatever.
My creativity has been like really different now, like because we used to write stand-up and go out and do it every night, and you practice it and all that shit. I haven't written a joke in a while, man. Like, it's not good. Like, if I'm like, hey, I'm a comedian, like, the amount of comedian work I've been doing has been real small.
Yeah.
But when quarantine starts, so this is a bit of a tangent, but I don't drink or smoke or do any drugs or anything. But my like kind of vice is like I'm a shopaholic. Like I buy lots of clothes and shoes, and that was like my fucking thing. Like I just liked buying shit, and so I recognized that was like, oh, this is a deal. This is a problem. So one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to not buy any shoes or clothes for the whole year, and I was like, okay, cool.
That's impressive, by the way.
Well,
let's get Tasha on that one.
Well, when you make it specific shoes and clothes, it's a doable thing. You have enough shoes and clothes to last you.
You become a watch guy.
Like.
Well, hold on a second. You're about to.
You got like a hamster, and you got weird shit now.
You're about to find out what kind of guy I've become now.
Yes, tell us.
So, like, I was fine. I was doing really good. Like the first 3 months, I was like, whatever. I'm doing really fucking good. I'm holding it together. And then quarantine happened, and then I was like, I'm not holding it together. Like I need to fucking, because I couldn't do stand up. Like I also do like the circus shit. So I wasn't like, our whole lives are done right now. Like we didn't have anything. So I also had all this creative energy, and I didn't know where to put it. And I also couldn't really do my podcast because I'd meet strangers all the time. So what I ended up doing is I've been playing music for a long time, and I didn't have any like equipment, and now I've become like addicted to buying guitars, which is so much fucking more expensive. It's like, I'm going to save money. I'm going to be really responsible.
You gave up Sperry's. Now you got a 6-string bass. You're like, I don't even do bass. What is this?
So, since quarantine, I've bought 6 guitars.
Wow.
And I've been...
Are you playing them all?
Yeah.
Shirtless on TikTok. I've seen a few photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Joe
Is that
Welkie
your
said-
thing? Hey, if it blows up your TikTok, it's worth
It didn't. It got like 100 views. But so I also bought a bunch of recording equipment. And so I've been... One of my because all of my New Year's resolutions like went to shit except for the don't
Straight
buy.
to shit.
Dude, it sucked because I was like, I'm going to record a comedy album this year. Can't do that. One of them was to do a circus performance. Can't do that. Do comedy in a different state. Can't do it. Well,
I just want to sit in a Starbucks. Nope.
Yeah.
Took that away from you.
So one of my New Year's resolutions is to record 5 songs and release them. And so I've recorded like a fuckload of like the instrumentals, and like I've just started to get the vocals down and like singing. And so it's been a process of learning how to record all this stuff and how to adjust and mix and master. And
That's fun.
yeah, man, it's awesome, and I'm really loving doing it. So that's where all of my shit is going. So I'm not really doing any comedy.
No, but you know what? I ask because we've got these like neurotransmitters as comics or anyone creative, and we just want to blast away at shit.
Yeah.
And I've gotten into these weird rituals of just going on long runs and then editing projects, and like
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell a story. I'm
Yeah.
trying to, but I'm not gonna make something that it's not. Like, so no offense to the Zoom comedy world out there, but I'm not gonna make something happen that's just not meant to be. And
yeah, dude,
and
did you do any of the Zoom comedy shows?
no,
I did one. It was very weird, and I didn't like it.
you gotta be like a type of joke writer that tweet, like a tweeter. I feel like if you just read tweets, like some people are just good at setup and punchlines.
Yeah.
But I really like to build up to something, and I don't see that happening.
Well, I did it, and it went well, I guess. I don't know, because I only did one, and I don't have anything to compare it against. But the whole power dynamic is erased when you do a Zoom show, because when you're doing a regular like live stand-up show, everyone's facing you, lights are on you, you are the only one with a microphone, and like the seats are all directed at you. But when you're on Zoom, it's just you're a square in a bunch of different squares.
I never thought of it that way. That's so right, because I would say the most important thing for stand-up, I've changed with what I think. Obviously, you need to have your joke be heard, but that doesn't mean you need a microphone. You just need your joke to be heard. But also, I've done stand-up with the shitty lighting setup, and that sucks too.
Oh, yeah.
I did that Sunday night, a show, my first show at El Cid, and they didn't have the right lights set up, so like you couldn't see someone's face. I think I ate a bag of dicks, but it's hard to tell, because as hard as it would be to tell with the Zoom show, these people are socially distanced wearing masks.
Yeah.
So like whatever polite chuckle I might have been gotten, is stuck behind a K95 mask or whatever.
That's the other thing too, is like you can hear everybody on the Zoom. You can hear them talking. Like some people, you don't necessarily hear everything that's being said when you're doing a live show. Like a person in the back, you're not hearing them talk. But on a Zoom show, you hear if anyone talks at all, you're hearing them. Like when I did it, I had people like just repeat the punchline, be like, "Oh,
Jeez."
I forgot all my punchlines.
There should be, they could establish rules for that. Like if you're not on mute.
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah, but then if you mute some, I know,
Then you can't hear laughs.
They'll
Yeah.
like
But
selectively unmute certain people
Yeah.
that are good laughers. But then Zoom knows to pick up their audio, not yours. If they're
Exactly.
laughing,
So it's like cutting out your jokes.
Yeah, so it was just not. And I'm on this app. It's called the Special Guest app. Have you heard of this?
yes, I've
Yeah.
never booked any work off of it.
I've booked a couple shows on it, and it's like Uber. Like for people that don't know what it is, it's like you're a comedian, but it's like Uber where you get ratings from the people that, or like Yelp if you're a comedian. So they can leave a review and like,
and then you say what your rate
whatever.
would be, kind of
Yeah,
like link to your stuff.
So right now I have like a 5-star rating based on the bookings that I've gotten through it. And when quarantine started, I got like an opportunity to do a 45-minute Zoom show set for a company.
My gosh.
And I turned it down. I was like, no fucking way.
That
and
sounds
then I got,
horrifying.
Yeah, and then I got another one, and I turned that one down too. And like a person from the app was like, why do you keep turning down these opportunities? Like, you're getting paid, you're doing a headlining set. And I was like, well, this is an app that's based on like ratings and reviews, and I have never done a Zoom comedy show. Like, I'm not going to stake my reputation on this thing that I've never done. Like, that's just stupid.
Yeah, so you don't need some dude who doesn't even have pants on to judge whether or not you're funny.
And it's like for a company of 12 people or whatever.
Yeah, are they? I mean, they're going to be required to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
who wants to tune in? I mean, maybe
And the money
somebody.
wasn't even worth. It was like $80. And I was like,
When are we going to wake up from this fucking nightmare we're in? It's just starting to hit me, guys. What the fuck? It's just starting to hit me that, like, 2020 is done, obviously.
Oh, dude.
It's just packing in.
And 2021 probably too.
I mean, have you thought about going back to the East Coast? What do you like? What's your plan? You think 2021's done too?
Yeah, I do.
I think that comedy, number one, is not going to be a thing until there's a vaccine. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, our way of life is fucking over until there's a vaccine.
Yeah, you can't pack people into the small rooms that are required for like traditional comedy for laughs.
Dude, and also people are going to be fucking idiots and they're not going to want to get the vaccine. They're going to be like, oh, this is
Exactly.
some kind of conspiracy bullshit.
I was talking with my sister about that yesterday. Her wedding is scheduled for November and it's still on. And she's like, fingers crossed, praying there's going to be a vaccine. And I said, you're out of your damn mind. There's no way there's going to be a vaccine. And even if there was, people are not going to take it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be first in line for something that hasn't been long-term tested. And this is not just an anti-vaxxer thing. This is all medicines. You know, medicines get developed and then we find out 10 years down the line that it causes harm to people.
Yeah, like I know that they're already like testing stuff, but even when you're testing it, it needs to go through like a year or two.
I read that they're offering
review.
like a $2,000 for people in Houston, Texas that want to get tested, which is going to become all comedians that need money. They're like, they literally offered $2,000 the week unemployment goes out. You're going to just have like a bunch of fucking. By the way, I'm doing a lime with my Tecate right now.
Oh, fancy.
No,
Wow.
Anyone wants do any of you guys want a fresh cut lime? It's the end of the world as we know it, and I'm just trying to get my citric acid.
No, but you know, even regular corporate jobs, they have figured out that working remotely is possible, and so people are going to continue to work remotely for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that I've got a job still and like I can work remotely, and I've always. Like when I was a writer for a couple of different websites, I worked remotely, like, and I prefer it. Like I've always loved working remotely, and there's
because it's a good gig while also doing stand up.
Yeah.
So like without stand up, we're just in a place where how can you best pause your life but be ready to go without losing your fucking mind?
Well, or refocus your creativity into something else, and that's kind of what we're doing. I mean, work is practically non-existent for me. And, you know, this, talking about like our New Year's resolutions, right? Our goal was travel. 2020 is traveling. Well, that doesn't
Nothing's going to stop us. We're going to get in that plane.
All the trips that we had booked, canceled, you know.
Bro, most of my wealth is in Alaska Airlines tickets that they've given me a credit for.
Yeah.
I got a solid $1,500 in Alaska Airlines tickets.
Where were you guys going to go?
Well, we were going to go to Florida, and then that got canceled, and then we booked a quick flight to Costa Rica because I had an uncle there, and then that got canceled.
We had like a brand trip to the Bahamas, like, you know, like a lot of stuff, but literally I think that Costa Rica closed its borders like the day before we were supposed to leave. Like we were really holding off canceling until the last minute, trying to watch things play out. But it's okay. You know, this time has given us, and it's so close to launch, guys. I'm really going to need your support when it goes live, but I'm like going to soft launch it probably in the next day or two. But just completely build a brand new website from scratch, talking about the kind of work that we do, the kind of stuff we can produce, making videos for YouTube, just like, you know, it's like all that
Tasha's
stuff.
Been working very hard on her. Do you want to say the name?
Ta-da Travels.
Which is Tasha and Dave. So it's basically building the voice for Tasha as a travel
Storyteller.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
We
dude.
have so much fucking gear. We released a video today going to see the Neowise Comet. We went 90 minutes north, and Tasha and I made a great video, drone shots, astrophotography.
Yeah,
it's
I've been
giving
looking
us
at
a chance.
I've been seeing your guys like drone stuff. It's fucking rad.
But here's
Dave
the deal.
loves the drone. But to get back to it, it's like all that stuff, like it's been on my to-do list for so long. But working 90 hours a week, driving here and there, going into offices, seeing all my clients, I never had the time or energy for it. So this quarantine is actually a huge blessing for me, even though it didn't necessarily feel like that at first, or it's just a roller coaster. Like, I know that looking back, I'm going to be so thankful for this time. And maybe you feel the same way too when you look back and you're like, holy shit, I really like. If it hadn't been for COVID-19, I wouldn't have gotten back into music.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like at the first couple weeks of quarantine when we didn't know that it was going to be lasting this long or possibly years. I was like, I'll just fuck around, like watch some I never watch TV, and I'm sure you're the same way because like we'd go to work and then after work, stand up. Like, that was my life. Like, I never watched TV.
We binge a lot. So, like, when we do, we do watch a lot, more so now, obviously. But, yeah, it's not like a sit down at 8 p.m. for primetime TV.
Yeah, I was never watching TV ever. And then, so, like, the first week or two, I was, like, binging a couple of things. And I was like, okay, this is nice. But when's this shit gonna be fucking over? And then it just kept going and going. And that's when I had to be like, I gotta do something, man. So I started to.
It's so true.
You gotta find a new creative outlet. You've gotta find a way to like feel like you're moving forward. At least for me, like creatively, yes, but also in my career, I want to feel like I'm making strides forward towards some goal.
Yeah.
You know what would be interesting? The dogs entered the carpet here. For those that don't believe we're on the roof, the sun's going down. I got a Tecate with lime. We're partying.
I got Diet Dr. Pepper with cherry.
With cherry. Think I'm going to give you that regular shit? Get the fuck out of here.
You know what's fucking weird is when I looked in the bag and I saw it was with cherry, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's exciting, right?
Bro, if you don't think I walked down the aisle 3 hours ago and said the same thing, I was like, oh, we a few weeks ago, there was a diet. What was it? It was a cream soda with cherry.
Dude.
Is that what it was?
Have you
What
gone
was
to
it? I
like
don't
This
remember.
thing was like, I got a 24 pack. It took me like a month to get through.
you know those like machines at like a Burger King or a movie theater that are like digital?
They're
Pick
super-
yourself, yeah.
Dude, those are that's the only other place I've seen Diet Dr. Pepper cherry.
Yeah.
And
you
then
can go
show up with a can,
blend
my
it
man.
all. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Talking about, how crazy this is. The day, my side gig, I got there and an hour later they sent me home and I was like, oh, shit. Am I getting paid for this shit? It was like, mid-March. And I immediately went to a Smart and Final, which is a restaurant, a store. They sell like restaurant grade. It's kind of like a small Costco. It's like a Mexican Costco.
It's like a club.
So you can get like big things there, but it's also like normal food. And anyway, so I go there and I just start buying cans of shit because it was a real tense environment. Everyone was like, didn't know what the fuck was going on. And like right now we have like 17 cans of baked beans I haven't gotten through.
And I hate baked beans. I don't know why you went all out on baked beans.
I just went all out on the baked beans. That's what I went for. But
Dude,
yeah, it's
nobody knew what was going on, Tasha. Give him a
but
break.
here's the deal, right?
Get a little variety.
So, but let's have some common sense here. Most of the world's not dying. I'm not saying that we need to go put ourselves in harm's way. We're having a good socially distanced conversation. There's got to be a way as comics that we can show up and do our thing, whether it's like
finding ways to make it work. Adapting.
I did a live show in San Diego at the end of June, and it was socially distanced and stuff like that. But it was weird. It wasn't the same.
It's almost like it's almost like if you're a weightlifter, unless you can do the 4 days a week, why you don't want to just randomly do squats once a month. And that's how I felt. I do my show Sunday night.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do 20 minutes. I didn't even remember half my jokes.
Yeah.
You ever do a joke and you don't remember how it ends and you have to still say it out loud? And like I didn't know. I couldn't see their faces. It was so dark. There was an audience member. I couldn't tell if there were two ladies or if one was a guy. So I couldn't even riff on that. My whole thing was going off. I started talking about Joanna Cole just died. She was the creator of Magic School Bus. So I was trying to work that into a bit. And I was like, oh, the worst part of I was like, oh, the worst part of the pandemic is that Joanna Cole died, the creator of the Magic School Bus, and then there was a table of like 4 black ladies, and they go, that was the worst part of the pandemic. And I was like, no, it's not a thing. Oh, fucking like, damn it, I'm fucking bombing right now. I was just swimming in the deep end, and with no legs, it was horrible. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
The worst part about the show that I did was, have you ever done Comedy Heights in San Diego?
No, but maybe I have.
Comedy Heights is like they usually do. It's a weekend of shows, and if you get booked on it, you do a show Friday night at a bar, and Saturday night you do this like mini theater, and like it's jam packed with people. But obviously you couldn't do that because coronavirus. So they only are doing the bar show, and the bar show is outdoors, and everybody's socially distanced and stuff like that. And the thing about Comedy Heights shows is they're all clean. They have to be clean, like no, like you can, it's like PG-13. You can't say fuck, you can't you can't cuss a lot. So it was my first live show back, and on top of that, it was like, I've been uncensored this whole quarantine. And I had to just keep...
And fuck is what you say when you don't know...
And then all of a sudden you have to stop cussing.
Yeah.
It's like, really, it requires a lot of focus.
Well, I probably looked like a robot that was short-circuiting every once in a while, because I would just be like, and then because I was about to say fuck, and I was like, oh no, I can't do that.
It's not easy. We had so you've done our Mimosa show, our stand-up show.
Yeah.
We've had Michelle Zuzu, who is like the creative director for Arsenic. She would love to come support our shows. It's so funny when we would have audience.
That Arsenic House thing.
Yeah,
I fucking
so she would come and
be there.
Well, I don't even know. Do they exist anymore?
Yeah, I don't think they do.
I mean, they're still very active in posting and making content. They've got a new
Bro, let me
app
tell you
that
something.
they're
Showing up to the Arsenic House with everyone's tits out is that is a tough one.
Why?
Just in general, Tasha.
Just because you're there with her, or is it?
Because you check these girls out too. They're not. It's not even. I'm not even commenting on their level of attractiveness or whatever. It's you show up to a house that you feel like you're in a rap video.
I think I'm just very desensitized to like girls in their underwear because of modeling. I think I'm just very like, it doesn't even. I don't think I would even blink or notice. So for me, it doesn't even cross my mind that it might be uncomfortable for you. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm totally
I didn't
getting
say
it.
Uncomfortable. I'm just saying. But then there's the guys too are super. Everyone's trying to everyone's excited to be there, but trying to play cool. And I'm just like, where's the fucking chips? Let's eat some food. They're good. They're really good people. I love the people that actually work there. It's kind of like the grifter kind of people that show up to any of those things. It's always like, like we get invited to some of these like B-level red carpets, and it's like everyone's just got their sunglasses on at night trying to be cool, and it's like we see right through that shit. And funny, cool is the enemy of funny, so it's like this is just bullshit. But Michelle, who's been very supportive, comes to all of our shows, I think mentioned the Instagram, our Instagram the other day, and was like, oh man, I wish I miss coming to your comedy shows. When in Los Angeles does someone say they miss coming to your comedy shows? You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like, what sort of like outdoor garden amphitheater can I find that we can have some fucking mimosas and tell some jokes, Like there's no reason, just because the nightclubs are closed. I wasn't in at the nightclubs anyway. Yeah.
Well, think about your hero. What's his name? The work that ass for daddy.
Oh, Marc Rebellit.
Marc Rebellit. So he's he streams live on YouTube. He started out, I guess, just doing like live shows where he would make up a song from a suggestion.
He's called Loop Daddy.
Loop Daddy. Yeah, okay. From like a suggestion from the audience. Mm-hmm. And so that's his thing. So then quarantine started, so he was just doing a bunch of live streams, but he was supposed to go on tour this year. Well, they changed the tour to be a drive-in tour, so you could socially distance it. So I think it just takes a little creative thinking. I mean, obviously comedy does, like, laughs come very naturally when everybody's packed tight, so you lose that. But maybe you do a fun outdoor show. I mean, you could literally put a stage right there. We could section off little blankets where everybody's 6 feet apart.
That was the thing when like Bert Kreischer was doing that drive-through movie theater tour. Like everybody was like, talking to me like, hey, I heard that like comics are doing drive-through movie theaters. Like, yeah, the huge ones that can do that.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't do shit for me.
You got to put like 20 grand up front and hope to break even. We're next week we're supposed to have Stephen Briggs on, and he did a show, and I think he said the producers all ate it.
Yeah,
like they just and because
Bert
you do it to stay relevant.
Bert talked about it on his podcast where he was like, I didn't make any money from doing that, but it just was like to go out and like people are excited to see him and shit, and it's like no one's excited to see him, and unless I know him, I'm not going to be on those shows.
But there's got to be something that as comics we can do, because like I know Tasha, you don't have as much work with a lot of the fit modeling things, but photography is still relatively socially distanced and things, so the performance aspect of stand-up's not there. But like I've wanted to create like something where like we go take a truck into the desert and all stand around a keg and tell stories, kind of like This Is Not Happening style, where it's like 8 comics standing around telling a story. So like how can finding ways to capitalize on the moment, saying, all right, we're not going to be packed into basements, but we can still be funny. So like I started, we bought a GoPro Hero 8, so I just suction cupped it to my window, and I'm just doing these ranting things where I literally have nowhere to go. I'm just driving around town yelling. I think it's like part of the same muscle.
Yeah, I think that's part of the thing, and like the thing that I've seen is like those Andrew Schultz rants. Like he's doing like his kind of shortened version of, I guess, The Daily Show. And I think that's the way to go now, because it's like YouTube, you're ranting about one topic and you like throw in jokes and all that shit. And like the ranting videos, I mean, as long as you're editing them and stuff, like that's what I think is the, I guess, short term, at least, future of comedy.
It's almost like we won't get to face live pitching, but we can still long toss.
Yeah.
To have a baseball reference.
Like I was thinking, like I have cameras like you guys have, and like I was thinking, and lighting and all that shit, and I was thinking about starting to do like my own like ranting things on my YouTube page, but I haven't gotten around to do it.
It's tough. It's a new thing. Hey, the sun just went down. Look at that. We just had the sun go down. Hey, look, I'm gonna fucking move the camera right there.
Look at that.
The camera gets to see. No one believes us here. We get I just fucked up your close up. There we go. We got
that's fine.
It's all producing, man. I've got 3 cameras set up with the fucking thing. I'm the bartender here. It's a tough act, Tasha. It's a tough act. So yeah, Tasha's been working really hard on this Tada Travels thing where we've gone through literally old videos and stuff, trying to make content.
So, and then I accidentally reset. I keep all of my old iPhones as storage for photos, and I accidentally reset one, like factory reset it when I was trying to turn it on. Well, because it was probably an 8, like an 8+, and the way the buttons are, when you turn it on, like my thumb it's a big one, hit the volume button at the same time as the turn on button. It was just not something I was thinking about, like having to be careful of it. And I don't turn it on all the time. You know what I mean? You just like when you're not in the practice of turning on your old phones, you don't think about like, oh, that's the way you reset it. But turns out, yesterday I found a bunch of photos that had uploaded to Google Photos. I was checking everything. I was checking Google Drive. I was checking my backups. I was checking the iTunes cloud, everywhere, and they weren't there. But I did manage to recover from Google Photos some old photos that I think were part of that lost batch. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy undertaking, and I'm so glad we're doing it.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome.
It's a lot of work. I don't know anything about video editing, so Dave's been helping me edit the videos.
I made a decision in December that one of the biggest things I've always had to like ask for favors on is like the fucking professional editing.
Yeah.
If I couldn't do it on iMovie, I just didn't have the capabilities. We're talking, like this setup. This is a multicam setup. We're gonna have 3 or cameras going. I'm gonna edit it live, and it's a lot of investment. Like I've had to get the all professional shit, and it's only out of necessity because I'm trying to tell my fucking story.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the day that somebody else does this shit. I enjoy hitting the buttons, so like I had to learn Premiere Pro, and it's kind of about having a growth mindset. I just had to say, look, I'm going to fucking watch every YouTube tutorial to make everything happen because I don't know how to do it. And what you learn, like learning a language, is the more you learn how to do something, the more the easier the next thing becomes. So even when I don't know how to do something, I know how to find the place that will teach me how to do it. So 8 months later, and I'm getting pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to have to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do stand-up where you set your iPhone in the back, record it, and post that on YouTube. I don't want to have to do this.
Yeah, but it just doesn't happen like that in life for 99.9999999% of people, where someone plucks them out of obscurity and hands them what they want to do. Yes, exactly.
I'll settle for the 15th chapel.
You
That'd
have
be a
to
great
design
album
your
title,
life.
The 15th Chapel.
You have to design your life, right? You know what you want and make it happen.
Well, that's why I think I love stand-up, because you can't rely on anybody else to do shit for you. And I think that's, and not to sound like hokey or whatever, but I'm like proud of you guys for doing that. Because it's like you don't know me, and like, you know, like, who gives a fuck? But like, there are so many people that aren't doing anything during quarantine. They're not taking the opportunity, where like we're all stuck and we can't do shit, and they're just like, oh, just watch Tiger King again. It's like, no, fucking better yourself. Learn how to do something. Like, it's important to do that, and if you're not doing that, you're really wasting like the opportunity.
This is a golden opportunity. It
Yeah,
really
it
is
is
a
an-
once in a lifetime thing.
It isn't easy to get the ball rolling. Tasha had to spend good money on a laptop, which, you know, most people, they always say like the first thing to do out of a recession, you know, marketing is the first thing people spend their money on, because it's like, we got to go, we got to make shit happen.
Yeah.
So the second you asked me about this Rodecaster Pro beforehand, is $700 tool. The second the pandemic happened, I was like, I'm gonna need this tool.
Yeah.
And I couldn't necessarily afford it, but we have the patreon.com/thesap, and I want to keep investing in things. Tasha puts good money down on a real high-end computer because she's trying to make shit happen. You mean like her
Sometimes it's like, sometimes when you're trying to motivate yourself to go to the gym, you need a new outfit.
Yeah.
You need a new
Yeah.
like workout set. You need some new gym shoes. That's gonna
Well,
make
here
you
she
feel
is,
super
a
fly.
model with a 50 megabyte photo, and you're running it through your iPhone's like filter system. It's like, we need, you know, there's a professional. So by getting,
Yeah, no one's gonna take me seriously if I don't take myself seriously enough to invest in the tools that I need to get the job
So
done
she
properly.
bought the Apple Pencil. It came in today, which you can use to draw like design work on.
Yeah.
So this is pro stuff that we're just learning how to do. And like, goddamn, when the fucking check comes in and when something finally takes off, I'm not gonna have imposter syndrome. Not on this shit.
Yeah.
Not because and I know we gotta wrap up. I'm freezing, by the way.
Yeah, I'm really. I've been shivering for like 10
me
minutes.
too. And I have to pee, so it's like
Dude, I have to
horrible.
pee too.
I want to wrap it up, but I just want to say this, that I did post like a few weeks ago, like I posted like a rallying cry on Facebook. I was like, look, guys, if you're not writing your screenplay now, then it's on you.
Yeah.
It's on you if you're not doing it now. It's some I don't know who it was. It was a female friend or something was like, listen, a lot of people have anxieties and the times are
It's
crazy.
true. And you don't want to shame anybody for not, like, we're not always there. Do you remember how emotional I was probably about week 4 of
Yeah, I
quarantine?
remember. Like it was
Every day,
yesterday.
Tasha. You fucking roller coaster.
No, but it is a roller coaster, and like there are challenges. It's a weird time, so like we do need to take it easy on ourselves if we can't always have a growth mindset, if we can't always be super positive, if we can't always be like actively working towards our
Totally.
dreams. But
also, if you're so, not you personally, but if somebody is so stressed out by the way the world is, turn your fucking internet router off for a couple days and get your fucking mind right first. You know what I mean? Like we're both there. You'll we started this podcast talking about algorithms, but God knows you watch some fucking cop video. Next thing you know, I'm in bed 3 hours later. My mind's blown. You know Josh Sude, right? Did you?
Oh, yeah, I
That
saw
fucking
that.
video. I go, this looks like Josh Sude.
Yeah.
And then Tasha goes, that's not Josh Sude. And then I went on Josh Sude's Facebook and it was him. He basically it was a video that everyone thought was fake because he actually designed our old artwork, but he's a comedian and he had a cop try to pepper spray him for no reason.
Yeah.
And the pepper spray was jammed. So people thought the video was fake because Josh was sort of laughing, but also like as a comic, I feel like you're way more able to deal with weird situations like that a normal person would have been frightened. And Josh was like, you can't fucking take me out of my car. What'd you pull me over for?
Yeah.
And Josh was literally like,
He was like, you're gonna pepper spray me for going 60 and a 55? Like, what is wrong with you?
He goes, what's wrong with you that you're gonna take me out? You're gonna arrest me now? And the guy's like, we can arrest you for resisting arrest. And he goes, resisting what?
Yeah.
And then the other cop comes up, and the other cop's like, you better listen to him. It's gonna get worse. And he goes, what's going on?
Yeah,
and he was so just like logical about it
Yeah.
that it was hilarious.
I loved that when the pepper spray jammed, the guy was like, "It's your lucky day," and then Josh goes, "It's lucky for both of us, dude." It's like, why are you doing this? I don't understand.
It was amazing. And I go, that looks like my buddy. And then I couldn't believe it was actually him because it was just like, what? This world is mad. And it's like, we got to take care of ourselves. I don't have a real moral to that story, but we got to get out of here. But we got to take care of ourselves. So like, help others. But I know a lot of people get triggered by Jordan Peterson, but like his big thing, it's like clean your fucking room.
Yeah.
That's like his number one thing. If your room's not clean, you don't get to, solve other people's issues. You got to take care of yourself before you can help others. That's why when it comes down to it, when you're on the airline and the shit's going down, they say put the fucking air on yourself first. You can't be all...
and even if you want to look at it selfishly, it's like nobody else is going to help you.
Yep.
You've got to help yourself.
Joe Welkie, we got to get out of here. Oh, no, sorry.
That was what I was going to say is like, I talk about this pretty often with like other comics about how crazy it is, all of the shit that we need to know as stand-up comics now. Because like back in like 20 years ago, it was like you had to know how to tell jokes and like maybe write a script. It's like we need to know how to tell jokes, write a script, edit video, edit audio, do this podcast, take your own pictures and shit.
Social media.
I don't want to know what a bit rate is.
Dude.
I don't need to know. Like I need to
We need to know so much shit to do the thing that's like the least hard. Just telling jokes.
And then I do all that. And then I go up and do my set Sunday night and I eat a soft bag of dicks. And I go, what the fuck? But it's all, it's like how much creative energy can you spend doing one thing versus the other? And we've obviously been putting a lot of our effort into getting the website launched and this and that. But I will say, everyone who's listening, go support Tasha. She's had her YouTube for a while, but YouTube rewards regular content. So we're going to be putting a lot of regular content up on Tasha's YouTube. And this video is called, it's something called like Exploring Neowise. We went out, like I said, north, and we taught ourselves how to use our DSLR camera, and I'll show you some photos. We got the fucking Milky Way system.
Damn.
Tasha's pointing out which planets are there. We got the comet Neowise. If you didn't see it, you got to wait 7,000 years. You slacked. So we went.
You slacked.
We went into the fucking Bortle scale. Like we know what the Bortle scale is. Like we're in a 9. It goes from 1 to 9. 9's the worst. You can't see you can see a one fucking moon. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't see shit here. And then all of a sudden you drive 90 minutes north to a Bortle scale of 2. There's the Big Dipper. There's Orion's Belt. The whole fight. We've seen shooting stars. It's a fucking blast. So we're trying to just explore things and tell our story. So if everyone who's listening, the thing you need to do to support us this week is go to Tasha's YouTube. You leave a comment and you watch the whole video. Those are the two most important things.
Like, subscribe, comment, please, please, please. I'm begging you. Like, subscribe, and comment on my video because I have not posted anything but shit on my YouTube, and I haven't posted anything on YouTube for 5 years. So please, please, please.
But it took us 20 seconds to upload a haul video of her trying to dress on it. Gets 1,100 views. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing the potential that she has to grow her channel. And I told her, like, look, your channel's gonna pass mine in 2 seconds once when people find it, and it's all about it whatever. So people can go support that. And then if anyone really wants to get into the nitty-gritty of the podcast and wants to support us, we've got a pretty healthy Patreon happening. It's patreon.com/thesap, patreon.com/thesap. It's weekly content, baby. I got the lav mics. I'm just hooking myself up, and I'm talking mad shit. I've got so much shit that I can get off my chest over there that I can't necessarily say on this podcast. So I'm doing it, and so much appreciation to all of our members that are out there. These people are great. They're boosting their some months they're dumping more money in than others, and it really, really adds up. We've used it to get all of our equipment, and it's humbling to know that they're out there and supporting us. How can they support you, Joe? What's going on?
All right. Here's the long list of shit. All right. You can follow me at Joe Welkie on Instagram. I have a podcast that we talked about earlier. It's called the Dating is Hard podcast. You can go to that website. It's datingisHardComedy.com. It has all the links to everything. I also have another podcast that actually Josh Sude did the artwork for. It's called Boys Watching Girls. It's me and my buddy Vance. We're watching every episode of HBO's Girls.
Oh, nice.
And we're reviewing every episode.
Oh, didn't you text me Was that you or someone else? I used to do background on that show.
Yeah.
So, was that you?
Yeah. I did text you because I saw you in an episode, and
I've
I was
been
like,
in
"Is
so
that
many-
fucking Dave Neal?"
I've stolen so much clothing from that show. I have so many ties and suits and things.
Yeah, it was the episode where Marnie does the awkward singing version of Kanye West or something, and I was like, "Is it fucking Dave there?"
Yep.
Because I texted you right after.
Stole that shirt. I have shoes too. Yeah.
I gave you guys a shout out on that episode.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Yeah,
Woo.
check out Boys Watching Girls as well. And also, it takes a couple seconds to give that 5-star rating or whatever. Like, you don't even need to review. Just hit the 5-star on Apple Podcasts. It's awesome.
No, but write a review. Go write a review for Joe.
Extra couple
I tell people this.
Post an emoji.
Post a fucking vegan recipe. It doesn't matter, guys. You're doing it because you're helping the system boost you above the whatever Joe Schmo.
Yeah, so the Dating is Hard podcast and Boys Watching Girls, that's the main shit to check out right now since stand-up is not a thing. And that's about it.
Well, we got to find a way to rant or we got to find a way to just get our voices out there, even if there's no audience. We'll have to brainstorm off air. We gave Josh Sude more fucking references than we did.
Dude.
Fuck you, Josh. But no, seriously.
But he's a great artist. That's one thing that people love a lot about Boys Watching Girls is our artwork because it's.
Oh, is he? So he wasn't. He did your artwork, but was he a guest on the podcast?
Oh no, we don't really have any guests on that podcast. Maybe I'll have him. I gotta have you guys on Dating is Hard.
Let's do it.
Can we be on Dating is Hard?
Yeah, I mean, I had a married person on.
He's banned from Tinder, so we're exploring options here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, this pandemic has been great for us as far as not planning a wedding goes. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? We're gonna piss our money
I had
away.
the excuse of my sister's upcoming wedding as a reason to not start, and now I have an excuse of a pandemic.
There it is, just a worldwide
pandemic.
No problem there. All right, everyone, go support Joe. He's been a guest of ours that we always enjoy talking to. So go support him, give him some love, share it with your friends. That's the episode. Bye, everybody. Oh, look at that transition. That was fucking good. That was a good. I wasn't even ready for it. I had to slide it up. Boy.
I love that we've gone back.
SAP, baby.